Welcome to the Noctuary Apocrypha. This is where you'll find any games that aren't part of our current main continuity. We'll skip around from time to time, place to place, and from game system to game system. So think of Apocrypha as the box of yellowing letters you find in the attic, filled with glimpses into other times and other lives.
Welcome to the Noctuary. My name's Dev, he, they.
I'm Zuki, he, him.
And I am Alex, they, them.
And welcome to the Apocrypha. Unfortunately, our dear friends Patrick and Nicole could not join us for this episode, but that's okay. Zuki, you're the one who suggested this game. Why don't you tell us a little bit about Lovecraftesque? Yeah.
Lovecraftesque, that's it, yeah. So it's a game by Black Armada. It originally had a Kickstarter, and this is the second edition of the game that we're going to play, which I haven't played before, so fingers crossed I can get it to work. But it looks very, very similar, just a bit more neatened up version of the first edition. Basically, the game is designed to run like a H.P. Lovecraft story reads. So it focuses on the fact there's a single protagonist, who's the main focus of the story. The fact that supernatural things happen and it snowballs slowly to some terrible conclusion. So to begin with, there isn't a lot of... There are kind of hints that weird stuff is happening, but things are kind of slightly explainable or not serious, and then it eventually gets into what's called the final horror and the journey into darkness, which is the conclusion of the story. So we're going to work together to come up with a kind of setting and a main character, and then we're going to kind of run through the creation of the story in various stages. So I'll kind of explain that as we go along. However, the first thing apparently we have to do is before starting play, each player shares one weird thing. This can be something strange that's happened to them, a story you heard, a book or a movie, or a piece of media you enjoyed. It should be something that puts you in mind of mysteries, weirdness, and horror. Tell everyone about the experience and what made it weird. Whoever's one weird thing happened most recently starts as the active player, but maybe I'll start as one because I'm trying to explain it, but we'll see. Okay. So, is anyone prepared? I'm not sure I can think of one. I'm going to have a go. Okay, this isn't a weird thing. It is quite a long time ago. But when I was like a teenager, we used to like drive out to the middle of nowhere and just try and scare ourselves by walking through the woods and like looking for ghosts. And we just like drive somewhere totally random and just be like, we're going to go monster hunting, right? And we're going to like just walk through the woods in pitch darkness. Just try and find some monsters to kill us, or whatever. It's just a strange thing to do. But yeah, I had a really good time doing that. I think that's probably why now I actually do haunts and things like that. I actually run a haunt. So yeah, I think scaring myself has always been a big part of my makeup. I guess it's not that mysterious, but it's just
hunting for ghosties.
Mm-hmm.
Always mysterious. The real question is, did you find any?
No. Would have been much better if we did, but
yeah,
pretty disappointing.
Yeah, no. I work the night shift a lot. So I have definitely dealt with the weird and peculiar. When I worked at my last store, the one before I moved to where I am now, weird things would happen. I don't know if it was because I was sleep deprived and water deprived, of my own volition. But I would see, even when I locked the store up, I swear I would see people just pop up from behind. And keep in mind, it's a small store. It's not that big. It's about the size of like a small house. And I would see just people, maybe blurry images of people peeking from behind the aisles, and I'd walk over there and there'd be no one there. I would pick up the phone at like around 3 or 4 in the morning, and I would pick it up. I would answer. I would say hello, the store I work at, and I would hear like digging or some kind of like, I don't know if it was construction or something. I would hear that on the other end, and then I would hang up. And then, of course, there were people just coming in and out. It's a strange thing, kind of working at night, because it's a different environment, especially when you live in the city.
All the freaks come out at night.
Oh yeah.
Taxi driver. Okay.
All right. So something that happened when I was younger. This is following devs. This is like nothing, but. I remember at one point, I think it was like Mother's Day or something, we were going to like a brunch, and my mom sent me and my brother to go get flowers from a flower shop. So like I live outside the city, and I've lived outside the city for most of my life. And so it was like we're in a small town, and there's like a little flower shop that's run out of a house that I've never been to before. But yeah, so she tells me and my brother, go and get some flowers for your grandma to, bring to the brunch. And so we go, and this is the, because I live in Canada, there's snow everywhere. There is no path cleared out between like the sidewalk and the flower shop for whatever reason. And so we kind of like trudged through the snowbanks to get into this place. And then when we get there, like we're in this house or on the doorstep, we kind of realize that there's literally nobody there. And when we go inside, there's nothing in there. There's nothing set up. There's no counters. There's no anything. It looks just kind of like an old rundown empty house. And then on the walls, we were just kind of like looking around the entire place trying to find it. But on the walls, there was the blueprints for the apartment complex that was across the street. I say complex, it's like a one building apartment complex with maybe like 12 units, but it just had the floor units for the apartments across the street and nothing else. That was the only thing that was in there. And it's still supposedly a flower shop, but I've yet to see any evidence that there's actually flowers in it.
Wow. Yeah. I like it. Okay, that's good. So I think, Dave, yours the most recent one. So I think we'll see. I'm not sure what being the active player means, so we'll just go ahead. So the next thing is we're going to create a kind of setting and a story, which is going to include the main character, the locations that are in the story, and maybe why the main character is there and things like that. So what we're going to do is deal 3 location cards. So I'm going to put these out. So we've got an urban place.
Okay.
We've got a bar, a nightclub or gambling den, an alley, underpass or railway, park, sports, and so on. Okay. The second one is a forbidden place. Military bases, research stations, contaminated or dangerous land. And the third location we've got is cultural place, an art gallery, a sculpture park, a theatre.
Can I pick from one of these, or are they all?
They're all going to come into play at some point. They're 3 different locations we're going to have, which we're going to flesh out a bit more later.
I see. Okay.
And I'm going to do the same thing with the character deck as well. So we're going to get a character based on this, or maybe NPCs could be based on this as well. So what do we have? An enforcer, police officer, inspector, or bouncer. Interesting. A local worker, a labourer, outdoor person, service worker, and a helpful person, a guide or expert, someone offering shelter. Can't quite put that on there, but never mind. Okay, there we go. So, choose together a period and general area for the story to take place. Take a look at the location and character cards that have been dealt out. These will be used to create locations and supporting characters that may feature in the story. Write down the details of your setting on the setting notepad and choose a setting that works well with these cards. So
I want to say... Oh, sorry.
No, go ahead.
Detroit.
Okay, you have two non-Americans here. You might need to...
Right. Okay. You know what? That's fair.
Well, I think we all know what the cliche of Detroit is. So, yeah. Would it be modern day Detroit, do you think?
Yeah, I think like modern day Detroit. Or I'm thinking of like, yeah, modern day Detroit. We'll go with that, yeah.
Okay, so just what part of the country is that in? Because last time I got Illinois confused with Kansas, so...
Give me 1 second. Detroit is...
Detroit.
It's the Rust Belt. It's in It's Michigan. It's the...
Michigan. Oh, that's right. Yeah, it's near Flint, isn't it? Kind of. I don't know.
Yeah.
Same.
So that's like close to the Canadian border-ish?
Yeah.
Okay, so we've got... I think that's fair enough. I think we know modern day Detroit. Okay, we've got modern day Detroit. And that works with, I think, with these characters and these locations. Okay. So we now need to agree and write down the details of your main character. A good main character is someone who might uncover a secret in this time and place, a newcomer, an outsider, or someone with low status or socially isolated. We need their name, a brief description, why they're here, a personality trait which be something you enjoy portraying, and a source of strength, which be something that helps them hold themselves together when things get scary, rather than a skill or ability. Okay, so who is our protagonist, our witness, going to be?
So we have to pick from these 3 cards, right?
I don't think so. We could use these for inspiration.
Okay.
But these are going to be NPCs, I think, the characters.
Okay. Alex, what do you think? Or Zuki?
I mean, it's somebody that's going to be driven to investigate and to work out what's going on in this area.
I have an idea for a profession, but I don't have...
Well, so I did have the thought of, and I use this in... I've used this in a couple of your games already, Dev, but a journalist is...
Yeah. I was just about to say journalist, reporter, urban explorer.
I like that one. Yeah, especially in modern day Detroit, there's a lot to explore. Okay, so let's put... And are they kind of like a drifter? Are they like a YouTuber or a?
I feel like I use the YouTuber thing way too much, so I want to say drifter. I think they're like they might be like a photographer, not like a. They're more they urban explore for like art reasons.
Oh, an artist,
I guess.
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah.
Photographer's good.
Yeah.
We'll leave out the reason for being here, I think.
Reason for being there is probably just like, ooh, cool buildings. I take pictures.
Okay, so let's give him a reason to be here. So it's part of an art project on maybe something underground. I don't know, what kind of underground places?
Or like
or maybe like just on the car industry, you know.
Yeah, it could be like abandoned places. Like there's some people who go in and do like, you know, like old hospitals, just like old buildings that have like fallen into disrepair, or that just happen to, for whatever reason, haven't been like they've been sectioned off.
How about if he's seeking a friend that's another urban explorer and they've gone missing? Because that gives them a pretty good reason to investigate.
Like they haven't been in contact for a minute.
I'm going to say, what name shall I give this friend, and what name shall I give them, for that matter?
I was about to say Frank, but that's... maybe they go by, like, monikers. So maybe this person is called Sawdust. They're here for their friend Sawdust.
Okay. All right. I think that should have a number on it, so it's like online stuff. Sawdust 72 or something. But that no one calls them that, just call them Sawdust. What's their name going to be? Okay.
To keep like the moniker thing going.
So what you said about like Sawdust 72, I kind of now imagining this whole like underground society of urban explorers where there's like specific titles that you can like inherit from other urban explorers like when they retire.
This is Rusty 7.
Yeah, I'm going to say his real name's Ryan.
That works.
Fair enough.
Just so he's got a real name too, just in case that comes into it. Okay, and personality traits. So these should be something you'll enjoy portraying.
I think a personality trait.
Mm.
Just one?
Yeah, examples might be gossipy, pushy, optimistic. So I'd say relentless.
I would say paranoid.
Paranoid, okay.
I mean, hey, I think you have to be a little paranoid to, like, if you're going into an unfamiliar, unexplored building that your friend has possibly gone missing or murdered. Let's be realistic. Mm-hmm. Well, we don't know, but maybe murdered.
I'm going to put deeply curious as their source of strength, and they have to find the answers. Now we take turns to create a location or supporting character that anyone can pick up and use during the story, and write it on the appropriate notepad. Locations and supporting characters might be spooky, odd, or unusual, but don't say anything really weird or sinister about them at this stage. So, Dev, I think you're going to start because you're the active player. You choose either select a face-up location card and describe a specific place inspired by that card, then discard it and draw a replacement. Or select
so I had to draw a card?
No, you select one of the ones that's out, and then we'll replace it afterwards. Yeah, and you'll do the same thing with a character. So you can decide on select a face-up character card and describe a person inspired by that card.
Okay, I'm gonna say. So I pick a card. I pick one location card, one character card, and like kind of. Okay, right? Is that what I'm understanding?
Yeah. So you basically get to describe the location. Don't go into a lot of detail, but as much detail as you feel like, and give it obviously a name if it needs a name. Definitely if it's a character, it needs a name. But if you look at the cards, they've got loads of examples of inspiration on them. Yeah.
I think I already know exactly. I think this is a place where Rusty thinks is safe. It's a place where others like Rusty, like his friend Sawdust, I think they met there. It's going to be an art gallery called Voyeur.
Okay, so the locations are on the far left. Okay, I'll put that in myself.
Yeah, the cultural
far
place.
Right is the locations.
Yeah.
So the Voyeur.
And I think...
So it's a photographic gallery?
Yeah. It's art galleries. It's there's a lot of different mediums that's used, but photography is like the main thing they do at this art gallery.
Okay. So he's actually a local, and he knows this place. He's kind of a regular there. Okay.
Yeah.
And you're using a cultural place. Yeah.
Yep. And I'm going to use the helpful person character card.
Oh, no, you only get to choose one or the other.
Oh, I get to choose. Okay, that's what I was confused about.
Yeah, it's either a location or a character, and then we go to the next person. So this is alphabetical.
Gotcha.
Be me next, and then Alex. So, I don't have an idea. And now I've completely forgotten it. Oh, I've drawn another one, an ancient place as another location. Yeah, I'm going to do another location, and it's like an old, what's it? Like an old Chrysler plant that is supposed to be filled with toxic chemicals that were kind of dumped there when the owners left. So it's like an old car plant, and it's like completely fenced off. No one's allowed inside. It's considered off limits and dangerous. There's very little security, but very high fences.
That was the forbidden place.
And we end up with 3 locations and 3 supporting characters at the end.
Great.
That's spelled Chrysler. Okay, but that is probably the place where Sawdust was going to go.
I do like that.
We don't know yet. We'll see. Okay, Alex, character or location?
All right. I feel like I should probably do a character since we've had a couple locations. So I'm going to do police officer Jeff. Just a guy going about his nightly rounds. You know, maybe he hears a tip-off that there's people in places where they shouldn't be. I think maybe he's trying to create a name for himself in the force, like if he can catch... there's been some break-ins lately, you see, and if he can catch that person, maybe they'll promote him from beat cop or whatever.
So he's a police officer, not a security guard. He's actually...
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
We could surely come up with a better name than Jeff.
I mean, feel free to. I'm bad with names.
Goffrey.
Isn't that just like Jeffrey? Is
you probably need a surname.
That is just Jeffrey. But
I like that you didn't know that. That's perfect. Let's see, Jeffrey Morris.
Morris. Okay, there we go.
Officer Morris.
Okay, and that's the enforcer. So I'll move that, and we're back to Deb. We have another character. We've now got extreme geography, frozen tundra, barren desert, and a believer.
I like that space is just on there.
A believer. Okay, religious or...
Since we've already done places.
No, we got one place available, but yeah, you've done one.
I've already done a place, so let's do a character. Let's do what I was going to do before, when I didn't understand the rules.
Sorry.
Oh, no.
No, it's okay. It's my own fault. I'm going to do helpful person, and I think this is like a personal friend, not like a... what's the...
Urban Explorer.
Not like a work friend, a quote-unquote work friend. This is like a personal friend. This is like her name is trying to think of something. Not Mary. Mary DuPont.
What are they?
She is a tour guide. She is an older woman. This is like I want to say like I think he befriended this older woman lady.
Okay.
Long white haired.
She's like
kind.
an urban tour guide because Detroit.
Yeah.
I don't think it's known for its tourism. Maybe a little bit.
Yeah.
Okay. So that's the helpful person. There we go. Draw another character, and we have a rule breaker. Oh, man. I think I'll let Alex. You can do a. I suppose we've all done. No, I haven't done a character yet, so let me try and do a character. Yeah, okay. I'm going to say that there is a preacher who kind of hangs out in some of the more deprived areas and kind of warns people. He's a bit nuts and kind of warns people about what terrible things are happening. He comes out with all sorts of strange pronouncements about why you should avoid some of these abandoned places, and believes that after people moved out, the devil moved in. Gonna make his name. So he's not like a street preacher. He's not maybe even officially a priest of any kind.
Just has like a sign, the end is near sort of thing.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, he's just a bit of a nutter.
Hey, okay. In which case, for our last place, I think given the context of what the scenario is shaping up to be, I think an urban place probably fits best. So I'm going to say maybe like a bar or a nightclub, like someplace where people are...
I would like to say that Detroit in the 1970s had a very big punk rock scene. So this could be like a popular, or was a popular place to listen to punk rock.
Yeah, I love it.
Yeah.
So are we setting this in the 70s, or is it modern day?
No. I'm just saying, like, to help is that, like during the 1970s, historically, is what I'm trying to say.
Okay.
To help, like, give Alex some idea of what this place could be.
Yeah, no, that works for me. It could be like maybe the last one of the old school bars or whatever that still plays that sort of, or like caters to that crowd, I guess.
Yeah.
Okay. What's it called?
Oh dear. Bar names and nightclub names always seem very pretentious to me.
The Heartthrob.
The bucket of nails.
A bucket of nails is pretty good,
Oh dear.
but it's not like nails, like in a like the. It's the name nails. Neil.
That's Neil.
Well, that's Niels. Yeah, maybe it's run by a German.
No wait.
The name.
Okay, right.
Have you been mispronouncing Neil your entire life and just found out now?
I thought it was nail. I don't know why.
Oh, never change. Love it.
Yeah, never will.
Yeah, yeah, a bucket of nails, sticks and stones.
Oh, that's a good one. Which one do you want to go for?
Pick your favorite.
Yeah, but I came up with it. I can't.
Okay, Dev, pick your favorite.
A bucket of nails is...
Okay, perfect.
Yeah.
Okay. Sweet. Okay, so now we're going to deal out mystery cards, because there's 3 players. We are going to have 3 cards each, and you are not supposed to show these to other people, and you kind of use them. You should read them. Some of them will say that it's a special card and you use it at this point, and that should become fairly obvious because there are 3 main phases to the game. Like I say, the signs and portents phase, the impending doom, the journey into darkness, and the final horror. And each special card will usually apply to one of those stages or give you special abilities during that stage. But since I don't know what the cards are, we'll see. But the other thing we need to make sure of is that you must have at least 1 card with clue on it. If you don't, then we'll have to give you another one and you have to discard one or whatever. So the word clue will be on the bottom. But let me do the dealing.
Okay.
And deal 3 cards to everyone.
3 cards for each person?
Yeah. All right. I do have a clue. In fact, I've got all 3 clues.
I have 2 clues, and I have 1 special.
We're supposed to say how many clues we have?
As long as you've got 1, that's important. That's all.
I also have 2 clues and 1 special.
Okay. Good stuff. So do you understand, to an extent, your special?
Yeah, the special that I have, it says it's to play at the end of signs and portents, and it also says something about handing a written conclusion to the player on your left.
Oh, interesting. Okay, yeah. Well,
which
we'll get to what those mean. Conclusions, we'll come into it later. So what conclusions are is, each time we've done a scene, we're all going to, in secret, write down what we think this is all about, right? We're going to keep that from each other. But at the end of every scene, we should think, well, based on the stuff that's happened so far, this is exactly what I think's happening. And it might change, because obviously different clues will come in. But yeah, and then at the end, one of us is going to choose that is the final thing.
You can't see what cards on. You can't see the cards when I click on them, right?
No.
Gotcha.
Okay, so during the game, the players take turns to introduce clues, which build up the mystery and eventually come together when the final horror is revealed. To introduce a clue, they'll play their card, then describe the clue that matches what's written on it. The suggestions on each clue card are only examples. You can invent your own clue that fits with the theme of the card. This includes clue cards included in scenarios. So, well, basically, these are suggestions. If you've got a really cool idea for a clue, then just use it and do whatever you want. And after your first investigation scene, you may optionally discard one of your mystery cards and draw a replacement, but we'll bother with that. Okay. And special cards, again, they'll come in as and when you see fit, based on the stage of the game. Okay. Just to iterate, during the signs and portents stage, we can't really introduce directly crazy, weird, supernatural stuff. But special cards can let you do that in a certain way. That's just something to remember about them.
Gotcha.
Okay. So, right, we're on to actually playing the game. So during the game, we're going to play these 3 roles. One is the narrator, who describes what happens, what they see, hear, and smell. Play supporting characters. Pause often to allow whisperers to contribute. So whisperers are the people that are neither the narrator or the witness at the time. And you can also invite the whisperers to contribute by asking them a question or asking them to play a supporting character. Okay. So, and during the first 2 parts of the game, the narrator will always reveal a clue at some point during the scene. Okay. So the role of the witness is to portray the main character as if they were a real person, and during those scenes describe the main character's behaviour, speak as the main character, and follow the clues. And the role of the whisperer is to support the narrator, add atmospheric details, call out if they think the main character is exposed to risk. When the narrator asks you a question, make up an answer, and when they ask you to play a supporting character, portray them as if they were real. Avoid describing anything so weird that it should be a clue. There you go. So that's that idea. So I think we're pretty much ready to start. And if you want, I'll start by being the narrator, just to give you an idea. And yeah, okay. So the risk rule is if anyone thinks something may be about to go wrong for the main character, or if they're in danger of some kind, the player may trigger the risk rule. This crowdsources possible problems and complications from around the table, and then makes some of them come true. It can be activated by any player at any time during a scene. If the main character tangles with the supernatural, this is an especially good time to evoke the risk rule. The witness says what they hope will happen, and the whisperers suggest how the main character falls short of success. And the narrator chooses one of the suggestions. So that's kind of cool. I like that. That's new. That in the previous version. Okay. So I've already gone over the fact there's 3 different stages: signs and portents, impending doom, the horror revealed. I think clues are fairly self-explanatory if you look at the clues that you got. I think I don't need to talk about those too much. However, the one thing about clues is they should be possible to explain away, at least at the start, to explain away with a natural thing. You're not going to encounter like a deep one in the middle of the place or anything like that. It's got to be something that could be rationally explained. And in fact, at the end of every scene, the witness has to actually rationally explain the clue, what they think, and they're going, "Oh, that's just normal. That's fine." They might not be very confident in it, but they're trying to calm themselves down, basically. Okay.
I would love to play the witness.
Okay, we are going to be switching between them.
Yeah, that's well. Officially, it should be Alex. You should go around in alphabetical order. But if you want, we could do it. Well, we can set up a different order if you want.
No. You know what? We'll go in the order it is. So it would be. So if I understand it correctly, I would be the narrator first.
Well, I mean, I was going to be the narrator first, just because you guys haven't played this before. But if you want to be the narrator, and if you want, so Alex, if you want to be the narrator, then Dev, you could be the witness, and I'll just be a whisperer. I'm happy with that. If you feel kind of confident about it.
I'm understanding it.
So it's a rotating role, in a sequence.
Gotcha. Okay. I can be a narrator first.
Okay.
I can narrate first.
Sure.
So,
I'll just give you a bit of advice then, based on, because I'm going through the rules here and I'm skipping over bits, but yeah. The narrator starts by reviewing their cards and any clues that have already been introduced and thinking about what clue they might reveal. Then you choose a suitable place and time where the clue might be discovered, and they describe where the main character is and supporting characters who are nearby. The scene proceeds. Basically, we just role-play the scene, the witness saying what the main character is doing and saying, the narrator describing things, and so on. Then you should involve the whisperers, as we already discussed. Once the clue is revealed, the narrator can end the scene when ready. You don't have to end the scene immediately, but if you want to allow the main character to react to what they've seen, or close the scene in a satisfying way. Okay,
so I describe a scene. So the clue ends the scene.
More or less, yeah.
But we need a clue to start the scene as well?
No, to start the scene, you need a location and some characters, potentially, but don't have to be any characters.
Okay,
and you can make up new characters as well, totally.
I'm understanding it now. Okay.
So you're basically doing a scene framing exercise, and then just narrating the scene till you get to the point where, so you're driving the scene towards the clue.
All right, give me 1 second to think about it. So we have construction. So there's a chemical plant, right?
Yeah, there's like an old car plant that's off limits because it's considered toxic. Yeah.
Right. Okay. And I think our friend Sawdust, or your friend Sawdust. Okay, yeah. So you are Rusty. Yeah. So you are standing. Rusty is standing in front of this large fenced-off car parts facility. You're not really sure, but Sawdust, there's a protocol that you all follow, like texting someone before you go into a dangerous place like this, like, hey, this is where I'm at. If I don't respond, get help or help me. It's large. It's pretty big. It's one of the biggest car plants that you've ever seen. You see like a couple broken windows. You see the fence is not been kept. You don't even see any security guards really anywhere nearby. There is like a smell, like an ozone smell in the air. And yeah, it's late at night, 2 or 3 in the morning. So what does Rusty do?
I'm going to say that it's a very warm night, and the sounds of like sirens and the sounds of the city are quite distant, and you feel slightly, it's almost separated from the city itself out here on the outskirts. So Rusty is kind of looking at the fence. He knows that this thing is it's illegal to break in, but this fence is how big is it? What's the kind of fence around it?
It's about 6 feet tall, and you can't really climb over it because there is like the barbed wire, the barbed wire that is, there's barbed wire on the top.
Okay, so if it's chain link, then he's going to try and cut it.
Yeah, I think it's chain.
Yeah, so he's got a big pair of bolt cutters, and he's just going to cut through it, looking around, making sure there's no one can see him. Slightly nervous.
Alec, could you play Officer Morris for us?
All right, so I'm guessing that Officer Morris is just doing the rounds.
Yeah.
Happened to be walking by. I'm gonna say maybe he's like
maybe he heard Rusty like the chains or like the chain link thing. He hears like a noise.
Yeah, I was gonna say I think he's probably he has like a nightstick on him. I don't know if he's graduated to having I don't entirely know how the police system works very well, but I'm gonna say he probably has a nightstick and not a firearm, at least for his rounds. But yeah, as he's kind of walking down the streets, he hears the clink clink clink, and then the sounds of maybe wire being snipped. And so he I just realized he would probably be driving, so maybe step out of his car and walk over, and he has a flashlight on him, so he'll since it's dark out, he'll turn it on and kind of shine it in front of him and just be like, hello, is anyone here?
So I'll quickly Rusty quickly slams his the bolt cutters into his bag, and he's gonna kind of hunker down and kind of get a bead on where the officer is, or if somebody's coming, so I can see the torchlight, I guess.
Yeah, I'm gonna say he's scanning, using the flashlight to kind of scan the surroundings, so you probably see it moving across in the dark as he's walking. It's this is private property, restricted. Kind of his voice is he's kind of raising it enough so that anybody around him can hear, but he's also kind of trying to keep a watch out to see if anybody's reacting to the sound of his voice.
Freaking cops! I'm gonna this is a bust. If there's this much police presence here, he is gonna try and get out of there without being seen. So this is definitely a risk, I think.
Yes.
So, player who activated the risk rule describes the risk to the main character, and I think the risk is that I'm going to get arrested. But what I'm hoping is going to happen is that I can make my way around the building and avoid being seen, because it is pretty dark and they're still a distance away.
Yeah, so in terms of maybe Rusty has something in his bag that he can maybe if he throws it and makes noise in the opposite direction, maybe can distract the cop briefly.
Okay.
I want to say that like you got the fence. You're halfway in there. It's taking you a minute. I want to say that here's what you could do is you could escape, but you're gonna lose a lot of your like equipment.
Well, actually, what I'm going to say, my suggestion is, I get away, but I leave behind something that identifies me, so I don't lose all my equipment. But maybe it's something that drops out of my pocket that's going to lead me, like a hotel room key or even an ID, is left behind. And
An apartment
again,
key.
yeah, because he lives around here, doesn't he? But yeah, so maybe something that is going to allow you to trace me if you wanted to. But you probably know that I've run through the fence. But the question is whether you pursue. But yeah, narrator, you get to choose completely. Yeah, you're the.
I think it's like you lose your apartment key in the attempt to like get away from the cop.
Okay. And yeah, so I'm gonna run as fast as I can across the open ground, which is very rocky and difficult. And I think your torch will probably pick up the fact that somebody has just run through here, but they've disappeared. I mean, you only get like a vague impression of a puffer jacket.
Okay. So he's probably going to he'll see that, and then he'll kind of like look over to the fence, kind of like the direction the movement came from. And he'll spot this key on the ground. He'll pick it up and kind of like have that look on his face like, this seems important. And, because he's still a little bit green and trying to prove himself, he's going to kind of like take a look at this and then like go like, okay, I'm going to figure out who this guy is or who this person is. And that'll show everybody on the force.
So you're trying to run into the place, right? Or are you trying to run away?
I'm running into the place. Yeah.
I think you do run into the place immediately. There's like one of the doors is broken off, so you're able to kind of like slip into this car plant. And I think you notice like you've been into many different abandoned car plants and stuff like that. This one is a little weird looking. It doesn't look like normal. And I'm gonna say that this is my clue. Strange construction. An incredibly large the layout is weird for this place. There is something off about it.
So the interior has like weird constructions in it, or like
it's like weirdly constructed.
Okay, so what does it look like? You're saying that I've opened. So is this like the main factory floor where all the
it's like the main factory floor. I want to say like the where the car parts would go on like the those conveyor belts. You know what I'm talking about? The conveyor belts are all kind of arranged in like a geometric pattern, which doesn't make sense because you'd want them all to go one direction. And you can see like these tall, smooth metallic machines where the conveyor belts are attached to each other.
So there's like unusual discarded machinery. Does it look like it's been recently used, or is it decrepit?
I think like it doesn't even look rusty. And again, that like ozone smell that you smelled outside is really strong in here.
Do you want to add anything as the whisperer about what I'm looking at?
Yeah, I'm going to say like you smell the ozone smell, but you can also like catch a hint of a very strong chemical, like not quite bleach, but this like this really strong chemical smell coming from the place. You can kind of hear like a steady drip, drip, drip in the background. You don't know entirely where it's coming from.
Okay. I mean, we're going to bring the scene to a close, I guess. But I think what's going to happen is that I'm going to realise that I haven't got my apartment key on me. I'm kind of searching myself and realise with horror that I have to get back. And I'm going to call off my current examination of the place. There's obviously no one in the immediate area. I think maybe he calls out for Sawdust, because now it's making sense that maybe he's come here and he's doing some kind of weird art installation. So I kind of call out to him. What happens? I guess there's no response. And he's like, get the hell out of there. Yeah.
Why
Now,
don't we take
after each scene is concluded, the witness describes the main character's fears and rationalizations. They say what's worrying them, try to convince themselves it's perfectly normal. So here I think, Rusty just thinks it's maybe part of some art installation, and he maybe should come back during the day, and maybe they'll be here. Maybe he's just got too obsessed with whatever's going on here. Okay, so we're now on scene number 2. I'm going to narrate, and Alex is the witness. So where is this going to take place? Yeah, I think it's going to be at the Bucket of Nails, and it's kind of a slow night. It's like a Tuesday night. It's maybe a day after what happened before. You managed to get back into your apartment. You've got someone with a spare key, but you know the cops could be on your trail. So you've been keeping a low profile, waiting to see what happened, and you've not been back to the factory. So you're just trying to relax. Simon, who is the bartender at the Bucket, there's kind of a lot of fairly new metal sort of stuff being played, which isn't very typical of this place in its heyday. So a few people are kind of, it's the new metal night, and there's a few kids around or drinkers around at the back of the room who are putting these terrible songs on the jukebox. What does Rusty feel about this kind of music? Are you into the modern stuff, or do you not like punk at all?
I think Rusty, he's into the punk music, but not necessarily like, he's never felt like a part of the punk scene necessarily. He kind of likes the atmosphere. The new stuff, some of it is kind of makes him scratch his head a little bit, but people seem to like it, and that's fine by him.
Mm-hmm. And one of your fellow urbexers, he kind of comes in through the back. I'm going to say it's her actually. Her name is Skillet, and she kind of comes up to the bar, and she sort of sidles up to you. It's like, Rusty, look, I don't know if this is true, but I think I just saw your friend, the one from the forums. What's his name?
Sawdust?
Sawmill? Sawdust, yeah, that's it. Yeah, I mean, he posted that picture of himself. He's got the big mustache. There was some guy in an alleyway back out there. It looked just like him. I called out, but he kind of ran away.
Wait, you saw him just now?
Yeah, like literally, I came over here because I know you posted you were looking for him, yeah?
Yeah, no, he's, I haven't heard from him since he went to check out that old chemical plant.
Yeah, man, that place is well guarded. I would love to get in there. I don't know how he did it, but yeah. But
right.
Yeah, I don't know if it was. I mean, it could be just some guy that looks like him. But yeah, I mean, I thought he probably didn't recognize me, right?
Maybe it's because he called him Sawmill.
Yeah, that's probably it.
Okay, so Rusty will take out his wallet and like slam a couple bills on the table to cover his tab, and also whatever drink that she's about to order, and he'll just be like, "Thank you so much. I'm going to see if I can catch up with him. Have something on me."
Yeah, and she explains where she saw him, and it's kind of like, a couple of streets away, such a very dingy alley, and you are you going to head over there?
Yeah, he's pretty much going to like after he puts the money on the table and he gets the directions from her, he's going to kind of like duck out and try to run after. Yeah, so it's an occupational thing that they tend to be fairly limber to be able to like climb over all things and like get in places where they're not supposed to and run away from the cops if they have to. So he knows that if he's going to catch up to his friend, he's probably going to have to leave like right then and there. So he's going to take off at a run.
Yeah. So you make your way over there, and indeed, it's a very, again, a warm night. It's a summer night, and you get to the alleyway, and it is pitch black down there. There's a horrible smell of like heated garbage kind of permeating from the area. Dev, what else do you notice about this alleyway?
There is a puddle of green, there's like a puddle with a weird kind of tarry-like substance in the droplets of this tarry-like substance in the puddle.
Okay.
Where kind of where this skillet said that she saw sawdust.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you hear kind of a sort of a crash as you kind of round the corner, and your silhouette appears down the end of the alleyway. You hear a crash of something falling over, and then a rock, like something hitting the ground, and like cans spilling out or something like that, and then it goes silent again.
Yeah, so he probably kind of like has an arm kind of in front of his nose because the smell is quite strong, but he'll kind of like cautiously step forward and just be like, "Sawdust, is that you? It's Rusty."
Again, you hear this like something shifts, and you hear kind of a grumbling sound. It's distant. It's much further into the darkness of the alleyway.
I think like you do smell like the ozone smell from like the car factory. That's kind of mixed in with the garbage.
So I think Rusty is going to take his phone and like use the flashlight on it to try and light up the alleyway, considering it's really dark.
Yeah, so you see there's a figure in what looks like a reddish sort of t-shirt with straggly long hair. It could be him. He's got his back to you. He's kind of hunched down in the corner of the alleyway next to what looks like a pile of bin bags, and obviously he was shifting around and they've fallen over next to him. And yeah, he's making this sound. You can't quite make out what it is from this distance.
Okay. Yeah, so I think he's going to step forward. He will like step. I don't think he's paying a lot of attention to his footing, so you will step like through the puddle as he walks, but just kind of like, "Hey, Sawdust, it's me, man. I haven't heard from you since you went to that Chrysler place." And he's trying to like angle the flashlight a bit so he can kind of like, almost as if he's trying to see around him to see his face.
Black and red, 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 black and red. He just seems to be repeating that. It does sound like his voice.
Sawdust, you okay, man? And yeah, he'll step forward like a bit more. He's kind of has this like sense of like foreboding, because that is, Sawdust is the most normal of people. I mean, nobody in the profession really is, but that's a little bit out there even for him. Black and red.
Yeah, and he sort of that strange ozone smell is just sticking to him, and he sort of turns, and you see that part of his face has been horribly scarred in some way. One of his eyes is kind of covered over with bits of flesh that seem to have almost melted into part of his face, and he just launches himself at you, screaming, "Get out! Get out! Go! No! Get out!" And then he kind of collapsed to the floor, like whimpering.
Okay, yeah, I gotta say, the surprise of that, he probably drops his phone, so the light like abruptly like goes to black. But like, sorry.
And he's lying on the floor now. Yeah, just saying, "Black and red, black and red, black and red." He's obviously in bad shape.
Okay, so yeah, he will kneel down, kind of like in front of him, and just kind of reach a hand out, even though probably I think the phone is probably illuminating like a random corner of the alley at this point. It's not illuminating them, but he will like reach out a hand to kind of like almost to try and comfort him, and just be like, hey man, what's going on? I can help you.
Yeah, he doesn't seem to be very coherent. He's just repeating it. There was a moment there where you saw in his one eye this look of desperation and fear for you, but now he's just gone more catatonic again. And yeah, you're gonna have to call this guy an ambulance. He needs to be in hospital.
Yeah, I think Rusty will pick up his phone and dial the 911. I think he will probably do that, and he'll probably hightail it out of there, because that will essentially lead the cops right to him.
Yeah, I was about to say.
All right, so I'm giving the clue unpleasant affliction. So that's the scene. All right. So what rationalizations does he make about?
Well, I mean, the chemical plant, like it was considered to be dangerous. I mean, often in their line of work, they consider dangerous things to be more of a challenge than anything. But maybe something about the chemicals there. Maybe it messed him up. Maybe with the scarring on his face and like the flesh. Maybe it must have just been like he got like a chemical spill and it's affecting him like that. It's got to be.
Okay. All right. So now we revisit our leap to conclusions and adjust it or enhance it based on the latest information that we have. Okay. So now, are we ready to move on to the third scene? Where I'll be the whisperer, Alex, you're the narrator.
And I'm the guy.
You're the guy.
I'm Rusty.
You're Rusty. Hey.
So again, look at the locations, and you can invent a new location if you want to.
Yeah.
And think about and look at find a clue that you want to introduce, and try and fit them together into a.
Okay, so I'm thinking this is probably maybe a day or two after you found sawdust in that alley. You kind of start wondering maybe what happened to the plant, like why it's so dangerous, what kind of things might be there that might have caused sawdust to completely lose himself. So I think you are probably going to be trying to like look into the place itself.
I think. Oh, go ahead.
I just need to set the scene. So I think you're kind of walking down like I think this is like a kind of, early evening. You're walking down, I'll say like downtown Detroit. You're heading to a place.
Or could it be the voyeur, photo gallery?
Yeah, it could be the voyeur. And I was going to say, kind of as you're walking by, you hear something being shouted at you, or shouted at everybody, that anybody who will listen, you hear, they're coming for us, they're coming for us all, they get at you through the skin, they're gonna take us over, you gotta listen, praise Jesus.
Oh, it's Rodney.
I think Rusty will take a picture of the guy, just out of habit.
I think everyone else is completely avoiding the guy. They're crossing the street to get away from him. So you taking a picture of him probably going to make you stand out a bit to him.
Yeah, and I think he hears like, or he sees you taking the picture, and he kind of like has a look both of like fear but also like relief that somebody's finally, noticing him, and he kind of runs over to you and he goes, "Oh, bless you. You gotta listen."
Listen, man, I don't have any chain. I maybe got like a 5 on me.
I don't want your money.
Oh.
No, man.
Okay.
You gotta understand, the end is nigh.
I already knew that, like, when the, shit's real bad. I already got that.
But yeah, so he looks at you and he looks down to your camera, and then he goes, "See, that's how they get you, They can see us. They can see us through these things, these pictures."
I mean, we already knew that the government was watching us. Like,
not the government, man.
What is watching us? You know what? I'll humor you. What is watching us?
Man, I hear these strange beasts. They're coming for us. I think I heard that they were coming up from one of those like old plants. And anybody who sees them or shows them to others, they get infected.
Listen, I don't know where you heard that or anything. I just came from there, not like, I don't know, a couple days ago. I'm fine.
I think when you say that, his eyes widen in almost like horror, and he like takes a step back from you and goes, "Oh no. If you've been there, then they've seen you. Then they'll get you too. Oh no!" And he'll make the sign of the cross, and like Oh, Jesus, you gotta protect us from what's coming.
I think you can see also that he is like sweating profusely, and there is genuine fear in the way that he's acting, and he's very jittery. Yeah, this guy is going through some.
Like, I can tell that, but I think Rusty is just kind of, the guy needs help or something like that. He doesn't really. I don't think he's like, what's the word? He's playing along, but it's not like he kind of walks off. I think at that point, kind of just like he thought maybe he could get some information, but it's clearly not really information.
And I think like as you walk off, you kind of like maybe out of, if you were to look back, you'd kind of see him kind of like rocking almost a little bit, like his arms wrapped around himself, and goes, "Man, they're getting us. They caught that dust man the other day, and they're gonna get. Oh no.
Yeah, I think he heads to the voyeur.
Did you want to introduce the clue, or is it something separate to this?
So it would make sense to do it now if I were to.
Okay.
All right, so wild words. Bizarre and unbelievable story, but surely it cannot be true.
Okay. I like it. It's good.
And then we do...
So now you rationalize it, which probably isn't very difficult. I think you've already done it.
Yeah, now you're like...
It even says on the card someone whose words are easily discounted.
Okay, and then we update our conclusions based on that. I'm not sure. I'm going to have to change some things on mine, I think. So we've got 2 more scenes before the next act, but the next act is also investigation, just like this one, but it's just a bit more serious. But yeah, okay.
I think Rusty, after like encountering this guy, he doesn't think about him again. This is just after Rusty leaves this guy. You're gonna head to the voyeur. Mm-hmm. The voyeur is usually not busy, but never empty. There's always something or someone there, but when you get there today, it is surprisingly empty.
Okay.
Like there's there's no art being displayed, there's no sculptures, nothing. No one's walking around. It is dead.
So there's nothing on exhibit either.
Mm-mm.
It's like the place is closed down.
Yeah.
Is there anyone? I'll kind of go in the doorway and look around a bit confused. I'm like, what the hell? Like, they haven't got any exhibitions up?
Yeah.
Okay. And I'll call out, hey, anyone working today?
Yeah, we'll say... I got it. Mudman, kind of one of the older members of the, this group is here, and he's like, oh, hey.
Oh, hey, Mud. What's going on? What, are you closing down or what?
No, you didn't hear?
No, I've been busy, believe me.
Well, a lot of people got sick at right now we're kind of closed down because of some kind of, I don't know, sickness or whatever. One of the exhibits, I don't know.
Whose exhibit?
It looks like it was one of like, I don't know. Let's see. From what I remember, last week it was Sawdust. He was doing those exhibits on like old car buildings or whatever.
Oh yeah, his man. Okay, I've got some bad news for you, man. I saw him out on the street. He's in bad shape. He is not doing well either.
Yeah, no, a lot of our members got sick. It's weird. It's like they got like, I don't know how to describe it.
Yeah, like, was it some kind of acid burn? I mean, look, okay, I saw him. He looks. Yes. I think he might not have been. I don't know. I mean, I called an ambulance for him, but he was not in good shape. I'm really worried. I'm gonna call up the hospital and try and find out what's going on. But I've got to lay low at the moment. I think the cops might be on my tail.
I think.
But this doesn't sound good. So yeah, so they've closed the whole place down.
For now, until we know like what caused this sickness or illness.
Were they serving those weird canapes again?
No, we learned our lesson from last time. The food poisoning was atrocious.
Hey.
But
What happened to his exhibit? Did you keep it? Is it in the back room?
Yeah, we got it in the storage for now. But hey, I like Mud. Like I think grabs your arm, and it's like I wouldn't. I don't know. Maybe call me superstitious, but I would not. I don't know. Maybe I'm just correlating the two because it happened when his exhibit was out. But I don't know. I would be super careful.
I think it could be
he looks
radiation. I mean, they should have tested for that stuff, right?
Yeah, I don't know. My clue, if it would flip around, fear and loathing. Someone threatens the main character or strongly warns them off something. Someone exhibits unexplained but strong fear of something. Someone exhibits unexplained but strong hate towards something. In this case, irrational fear of sawdust pictures.
So they're just pictures, right? They're not like things from the factory.
I don't know. Just something about them was off.
Yeah, I'll kind of look at where he's grabbing my arm and realise that it's quite... Yeah, he's got a firm grip on me. Sure, okay, look. All right. I'm not going to bother. You seem like you're really riled up about this. Yeah, okay. I want to have a look at his pictures, but I'm more worried about him. What the hell happened to him? But,
I think you'll notice, like, Mudman's, a little bit of Mudman's skin, like on his arm where he's grabbing you, is a little, I don't know, bubbly almost. It's hard to describe. It's like you wouldn't notice it unless you were like looking closely at him. But it's definitely like almost bubble wrap kind of
like little pustules underneath the skin.
Yeah.
Yeah, I kind of like pull back a bit and okay, I'm just gonna go. Okay. See you around, man. Just
Yeah. Hey. My new mud sculpture gonna come out soon.
Sure, man. I look forward to it.
Yeah. Call it Black and
out.
Red.
Black and Red. Sure. Yeah, he's just going to get out of there. He's getting the creeps. Yeah, he thinks it's got to be the canapes again. It's just...
Goddamn canapes. That's his rationalization of what's going on.
Yeah, it's like, well, he hasn't seen anything. It's just a bit... Mudman's just a bit crazy anyway, and sensitive. Yeah. So I get to be narrator, and you're the witness. No, wait.
Alex is witness, and I am
Alex is the
whisperer.
Okay, location. Use most of the standard locations. It's going to be a few days later, and it's at the funeral service for Sawdust.
Shocked he didn't survive.
He's dead, yeah. And there's a hastily organised funeral. And I think Mudman is going to be there. And if you want to play him, Dev, you can
absolutely.
Keep the roll going. So let me just look at something.
Further, for everyone to know, Mudman is wearing a suit and it is covered in mud.
As he always is, at formal occasion. Okay. Damn. I need to think of my clue. No, I think I've got something. Huh. Okay, so yeah, it's kind of an it's a closed casket funeral, and it's actually a cremation. You're kind of where is he going to sit? It's pretty sparsely populated. A lot of people are sick, and only a few people have turned up. Mudman, as well as Mary DuPont, who's a local tour guide that was a friend of Sawdust and yours.
So I think that Rusty probably wants to kind of keep a low profile just in case the cops show up to the funeral. He doesn't know necessarily how gung-ho the police are to get him, but I think he's probably going to try to get a spot that is closer to Mary, considering she's a local and specifically a tour guide. She might know stuff about the building that maybe other people might not.
Yeah, so she kind of looks at you, and you can see that she's been crying, and I can't believe Sawdust. He was he was such a talented artist. I mean, after what happened with his last exhibition as well, it just seems like
it's a damn shame. I saw him just before he went to the hospital, and he seemed.
Yeah, you mean these pictures of that old Chrysler place?
Yeah, I didn't see the pictures myself. I went in. I hadn't heard from him since he went in, so I was going to go and follow after him.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't get a chance to see the opening, and then after it closed pretty much the next day. From what I tried talking to Mud over there, but he's a bit crazy about the whole thing, and she kind of waves to Mudman.
He knows his arm is in a cast.
But yeah, I hear there's a lot of people sick, and I don't know, well, whatever. But I didn't get to see his pictures. That place, though, that it's been abandoned for what 20, 30 years, but word is people were using it for something. Maybe, I don't know. Do you think he got sick there?
I mean, it has to be, right? Like, maybe he got, I don't know, his face was messed up, like, almost like, maybe like he had like a chemical spill, like, maybe, it's gotta be the chemicals, right?
Yeah. Well, I don't know. I mean, it doesn't make sense, but I guess that's the only, well, the place is off limits, the place is dangerous. He was careful. I mean, we're all careful with this kind of thing. But, yeah, I know he was working there quite extensively. I mean, he was there for several weeks, from what I know. Yeah. The service is very secular. The priest doesn't really say much, or rather the head of the services. You're all kind of invited to go up and say your final goodbyes at the coffin before it descends into the crematorium.
Okay. So this is before the cremation, then?
Yeah.
Okay.
Mud definitely places a little bag of mud on the, it's a little Ziploc baggie of mud. And it's like, for you, buddy. Just for you.
I think Rusty will go over to the coffin and just kind of just like, what happened to you, man?
So, yeah, the coffin eventually is delivered through the curtains, and you're kind of making your way out into the Garden of Remembrance when you hear a sort of an alarm going off inside the building, and there is this strange reddish and black smoke emerging from the chimney. Normally, these things do not produce any smoke, but there is this weird emanation, and within it, there are these sort of patterns swirling in it. You could almost swear you see a screaming face form and then disappear in this smoke, and this ozone smell seems to permeate the area, and you're very quickly evacuated by the security.
Yeah, I think, like the smoke and the face definitely, like, I do think that he would probably had to be like prodded to before he actually escorted out. Like, I think it kind of threw him for a second. A bizarrery. Yeah, I think
weird radiation or energy, basically, I'm going with, or something like that.
I think that he probably will chalk the smoke itself to be, like, who knows what kind of chemicals he had on him, like, maybe it's something with the infection. The face, he's just going to rationalize his grief. Like, he's not in his right mind right now. He just, like, suddenly lost his friend. And so, his mind is just playing tricks on him. He just needs to get some more rest. So I think, it's probably been maybe another couple days since the funeral. I think the sudden death of your friend has weighed on you, especially with how sudden a change there was from him right at the end. So I think it's maybe a little bit earlier, but it's still kind of like in the early evening. So there's still a little bit of sunlight, but it's not like midday, mostly just because you want to be able to have the cover of at least shadow to help with the sneaking in. So you're back at that the chemical plant where this seems to have all started.
Yeah, I think I've decided it's time to really find out what was going on in there. I'm going to try and make my way to the hole that I cut before to see if it's still there.
I just realized, should it be Dev that's the
Yeah, I was about to say.
Oh, sorry.
No, yeah.
Really confused by all this. I should have
it's
made this a lot more obvious in some way. But my bad.
if we did this again, we'll have like a flow chart.
Token.
I think Suki said it best, but yeah, I think Mike walks in. He's got like a gas mask on now, and he's wearing like not actually protective material, but like he's got like a garbage bag on top of like a sweat jacket and sweatpants, and he's duct taped like rubber gloves to his sweatshirt and to his boots. He has like a flashlight and maybe like a crowbar, something to defend himself in case, there are people in here. He doesn't know.
So where are you entering
through the busted door? There's like a crack they kind of slid into last.
Okay. So yeah, you step into this place. It's kind of as you remember it. If anything, the smell of ozone is even stronger. Maybe it's just that you've smelt it a lot over the past, week or so. But it seems to be kind of almost everything, like almost choking out your air. You still hear that steady drip, 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 kind of echoing in the background. And then you hear what sounds like a slow clap as Officer Morris steps out. He has this really smug look on his face. Like, I knew you'd come back here. I knew I'd be able to get you. And you can see he has like his nightstick kind of like, his arm is kind of in reach of the nightstick. And it's a little bit strange. Like, you've seen him before and he seemed, mostly normal. And he still kind of seems mostly normal, but he does seem to have these like pustules on the side of his neck, kind of going up to the side of his face. Maybe he's been here the entire time just waiting for you to come back.
Hey, whoa, hey, listen. You need to, what are you doing in here without, you need to get out of here, first of all.
Hey, you don't tell me what to do. I'm the police officer here. And I got you. You snuck into a place you're not supposed to be, and I'm going to arrest you, and then the people on the force are going to give me that promotion and stop calling me Officer Dingbat. Now, I don't want to use violence, and he kind of wraps his hand around the nightstick. I'd rather you come quietly.
Listen, it's been a hell of a week. My friend's face was melted. All my other friends are sick, possibly also melting. I don't know. A guy named Mudman put a Ziploc of mud on my friend's coffin, and then red smoke with a scary-ass face in it appeared, and it's all connected to this place. So I'm gonna need you to get out of here, because clearly this is a toxic environment for both of us, but at least I'm insane enough to not leave.
I ain't leaving without you. And so the clue is meddling. Someone obstructs or sabotages the main character.
Mm-hmm.
Do specials... So they placed a clue. Can I not place a special down?
No, you can do a special whenever. Yeah, I mean, usually it's fairly obvious when... But yeah, you can... Specials are pretty much any time cards, as long as the conditions for them are met.
So we're in the...
Act 2, the impending doom.
Shifting sands. Play during an investigation chapter to shift the main character's location. During impending doom, this can be done by unnatural means.
Okay, so what happens?
I think I have this crowbar, and before I'm more limber than this guy, I'm imagining. Before he can get his billy club out, I've already conked him on the side of the head where these boils are, and they burst open, releasing this red and black smoke and this tarry substance coming out from his throat and the side of his face.
I think he kind of goes, "Hey, man," but his voice starts getting more distorted. "You can't do that to me."
And like as he falls to the ground, I think this tarry substance suddenly like starts shifting, and it looks more like ferro fluid. You know what I mean? Like the magnetic liquid.
Yeah.
And it starts scrawling around the ground. The smoke coming out from wherever this ferro liquid is touching, and the ground collapsed in on itself in like these cement cube things, as if it's melted the ground beneath it. And I think Rusty falls into a very large hole in the ground. This large, deep cavern beneath this whatever this place is.
Okay, all right. Well, you fall into something. We'll find out.
Yes,
because
I fall into something.
Now is the journey into the. Well, we'll see. It can be a cavern. So it's a single extended scene in which the main character moves close to the final horror. This could be a physical journey. It can also be a dream sequence, whatever. But it sounds like it's going to be a physical journey. So the roll cards no longer have an effect. There's no separate narrator, witness, or whisperer. Instead, you take turns to narrate a little bit of the main character's journey. The active player will stay just a few sentences of description, then pass on to the next person. As you describe the journey, you will build up a growing darkness and tension, which eventually lead to the climatic end of the story. In each step, you will describe one of the following: the environment moving deeper into darkness, or the main character's fears and rationalizations. You may not reveal new clues, but I guess weird stuff will happen. The journey may be pretty weird, but it should not be about building up a sense of doom. It should be about building up a sense of doom and anticipation, not revealing new information about the horror. So from the 13th, after we've done that 13 times, any player can end the journey by saying you've arrived at the heart of it. Okay, so I guess, Dev, do you want to start that?
So 2 to 3 sentences?
Yeah.
Last thing Rusty sees before he falls is the last little bit of light he will ever see again. And he starts to fall. Wind whips around him. The smell of ozone is overwhelming to the point where he passes out.
So he comes to, and he does seem to be in some part of the factory. Again, everything here is misplaced in a strange location. It doesn't make sense why one thing is stacked with another. These strange patterns. He kind of has the light of his torch, of his phone to see, but there are bits and pieces of machinery just stacked in weird ways around him. Okay, Alex. Okay. You can also say what the character's feeling and rationalizing about this.
Okay. I think, so Rusty is used to being in small, tight places, by virtue of being an urban explorer. But this is a feeling he's never gotten in a space like this before. It feels like the air is thick and hard to breathe, and it seems like these structures, as he looks at them, they almost seem like they're, like every time he looks at them, they almost seem like they're a little bit closer and a little bit closer. And he feels like if he doesn't get out of here, he's going to be crushed like a car in a compactor. And so he kind of picks a direction and takes off running. And
running. Yeah. Oh, it's my turn?
Go ahead.
And he's running, and he's running. He reaches a door. He walks out the door. The first thing he sees, he looks up, he sees just red and black clouds over a pitch black.
Okay.
He does not see evidence of human habitation.
Okay. I think he can hear in the air these sounds of wailing and screaming, and he recognizes the voice of Sawdust screaming and begging to be free among a couple of others. Yeah. So, Alex.
Yeah, and so he hears the screaming. He can also hear what sounds like Mudman's voice, going, "It's not muddy enough here. What's going on?" But that's quickly drowned out by the screams of maybe somebody that maybe he hasn't met in person, but whose work that he knows. And he's kind of looking around, and you see kind of like in the ground and in the walls and in the surfaces of this strange place around him, you sees the faces of thousands and thousands of screaming people. Everywhere he looks, everywhere he steps, there's another face, and it's just screaming in agony.
And they're all screaming, and we see these tall, skinny, metallic creatures that looks like pieces of and assembly robots as they neatly arrange these screaming these screaming faces onto what looks like a mosaic of screaming faces.
I think he believes that he's dreaming or insane. He can't seem to rationalize what's going on. He just closes his eyes and curls up into a ball, trying to deny the sounds and sights that he has around him.
How many are we on right now?
We're on 7. I think we've maybe pushed it into something that is probably going to be a bit early, but we've pushed it into, because we're not really supposed to add much more about what's really going on until the final part. It is supposed to be a journey more than a destination, but that's cool. I think that, yeah. So I think he's reached whatever it is.
Yeah.
But now one of us has to. So the final horror is a single scene in which whoever's narrating it reveals the full truth, and obviously at this point, the witness doesn't have to survive, doesn't have to. There's no restrictions on what happens now. The active player decides whether they have an idea for a climactic scene which should reveal a terrifying monster or conspiracy and show it achieving its awful goals, or reveal a horrifying, world-shattering truth. And based on the conclusions that you currently have, one of us can volunteer to say, I'm gonna bring all the clues together and explain what's going on. Does anyone feel ready to do that based on where we're at and what your conclusions were? Yeah, I've got an idea, but I'm happy for someone else to do it if they have one.
Yeah, I'm not so sure. I don't think I have a good enough idea.
Alex, do you feel like you can do something?
I have pieces of an idea. I don't know how coherent of an idea it is.
Okay. I've got an idea, and again, I think I'm the same as you. I'm not sure if it's fully coherent, but I've got an idea. But I'll go on, Alex. You go for it if you think you feel okay about narrating a scene based around your conclusion.
Yeah, I'll say the smoke descends upon the place like a fog, this heavy, thick, black and red smoke, and as it kind of sweeps over the screaming faces, it seems to enter one person, and they stop screaming for a second, and then when it goes into the next person, it stops screaming for a second, and then it goes into what you think is Sawdust's face, and then you see him on the horizon, kind of in front of you, completely covered in these boils and pustules, and that same look of desperation and horror in his face, as he just says, "Yeah, blood, black and red, black and red, black and red," and he comes forward.
Yeah, so I think he's just kind of gibbering and unable to comprehend what's going on, but he kind of reaches out to them as if maybe they can do something about it, and it's like, make it stop.
Yeah, I think as he gets closer, you hear the sounds of almost machinery in his movements, maybe the sound of a creaking hinge that hasn't been oiled in a long time. And you kind of realize that whatever it looks like your friend, it sounds like your friend, but it's something that's been manifested from this place, and as he reaches his hand out, his skin starts to drip off almost as if it was melting onto you, and you just see this liquid, that ferrofluid liquid, coming up your arm and coming up your shoulder and coming up to your face and going into your eye, and then you don't see anything at all.
Nice. These. Do you want to explain? Well, do you want to say what these creatures were, or is there any indication of it? Were they just?
So what I was kind of thinking is that, like, this is overall. There's this other plane of existence, obviously, with the black sky and the smoke or whatever, and it's kind of worming into our world, except that the entry point, whether it's by happenstance or whatever, happens to be this old abandoned car factory, and so it's trying to branch out, like, because everybody it infects, it grows. It's like its network, like, you can see through everybody's eyes and talk through everybody's mouth, and so every time the smoke enters somebody, it takes them over, and they can try and get more people to
slowly takes them over. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So no, I like it. That's good. So the final horror is followed by an epilogue where we kind of narrate what, perhaps through a montage of news or newspaper article or something like that. The witness describes what happens to the main character after the final horror and how their life has been destroyed by the experience. The narrator describes how the horror persists and continues to impact the world. So I think Rust, we see Rust, basically there's a poster of his next exhibition, which is an interactive exhibition held at the Voyeur. And maybe we then see news reports of the fact that there was a mass disappearance after this event, and similar to how before everyone got sick, but no, just nobody who went there is seen again. And as narrator, you can
I think
you can say, well, I guess it does persist. It still affects the world. Yeah.
Well, so I think kind of the result of this, like, this is the internet age, and so there's been a buzz about some of these exhibitions, the Voyeur, like, especially having been tied to, like, illness and disappearances. There's kind of like almost like a cult interest in it. And so these two exhibitions that resulted in, like, a lot of weird stuff happening, there's not much known about the art itself, but the one thing that everybody does know is it has something to do with that chemical plant. And I think the horror persists because more and more people try to go there, whether also like urban exploration or more like overt investigations. But the place kind of develops a bit of an interest for the people who are into, like, the weird and the creepy.
Yeah, and I think that. Yeah, do you want to add anything, Dev? Any atmospheric details of what's happening to the epilogue?
I think Detroit has a new smell.
A new population. So yeah, that's pretty much it. After the epilogue, we can talk about any conclusions that we had, the alternative conclusions.
I had a conclusion that I just didn't feel very strongly about. Was that it was an art exhibit that these robots were making a collage of human agony.
Oh.
Wow. Yeah. That's cool.
But I was like, no, I don't know. I didn't feel confident it was going to be, what's the word?
Like,
it would fit with what the evidence had. Yeah.
Yeah, because you're kind of supposed to explain why were the robots doing that as well, which is the harder part.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, mine was similar to yours, Alex, where I was going for the factory as a nexus of either MyGo or extraterrestrial kind of or like a touch point between dimensions, and it kind of anyone that visited there became possessed and kind of worked for this whoever was on the other side for a short time, and then after they'd come out of that, they were kind of ruined and destroyed and insane, and that, you know, maybe whatever happened there has long gone, but the repercussions of it are still still felt, but no, that was good. I really liked that it brought the cop in at the end as well. That was really cool. Yeah, I think that worked really well. It was a good story.
Yeah, I liked it. We hope you return back to the Noctuary. My name is Dev, he, they.
I'm Zuki.
All right, hopefully next month we'll start our actual campaign, or we'll start the campaign proper. All right, thank y'all. Like, comment, subscribe. Bye.
Bye-bye.